the Aussie US dollar is a really good live example. Let's start with this. So we have this still running. And what happened yesterday during the live session, remember we said if the price breaks the 36 EMA and creates a 1, 2, 3 setup over the 36, and we get actually a signal, a 1 hourly signal for long, what should we do with the remaining position on this trade? Do you remember? Some of you were in the room yesterday as well. Remember, that was an aggressive, what we call an aggressive late entry, because we took the trade not on the retracement on the 36, but only on the retracement back to the 12 EMA. The price was also already moving lower. We had a trend line break on the daily chart, just a reminder. So the price actually broke the 36, a lower high here. It broke the 36 and we took a late entry down here. It was not a conservative entry. Remember, the weekly chart already pointed down, bounce on the 200 and the 36 EMA. So a great opportunity in terms of the direction. Okay, this is still short, even knowing that we had a retracement of almost 1,000 pips. The main trend, because of the weekly chart, is just still short, right? So 1, 2, 3 here, and an aggressive late entry on the 1 hourly chart. It's a swing trade, of course. Remember, using daily, 4 hourly and 1 hourly entries is usually for swing trading setups, right? So what we try to do is actually try to trade on the 1 hourly, 4 hourly and daily chart to stay in as long as possible, usually days, sometimes even weeks, if possible even months. Okay, but now that we took an entry lower, much lower than expected, that's why we call it a late and aggressive entry. And therefore we sometimes have also to manage this trade aggressive. We had our first higher lows, okay, and the price hit the 36 EMA, but it did not bounce on it. So we said yesterday, if the price creates a 1, 2, 3 over the 36 EMA and we get a good entry, like a long entry, we can get rid of the short position, correct? We would only manage it on higher time frames if it starts making sense. That means if the price moves lower and then we get a nice 4 hourly 1, 2, 3. If I zoom in a little bit, you will see what is wrong with this candle. This is a 1, 2, 3. We already had support. And actually it's a green candle. So is that a long entry candle? Yes or no? Is this a long entry candle? Everybody, please. I want to make sure. It is not, right? Why? It's not because the candle did not close higher than it opened. Let me zoom in more. You see it's green. It broke the 2 to 3 line. It opened here, but it closed much lower. Okay, so what do we want to see in order to go along? We want to see the candle opening low, closing higher. Okay, we don't have it here. So that was not an entry, therefore we could not close, we should not close the short position yet, okay? Remember, it's a win-win situation. We already took our 2 lots and the second lot with much more profits than usually. So it's a very good win-win situation here. Even if it hits the stop, we still walk away with about 80 pips profits. Okay, all in all. So no 1 2 3, no long 1 2 3, no confirmed. That means we stay in this short trade. Okay. Now if the price decides later on, let's say it does not move lower, and in the end we get a green candle like this, what would we do then? Let's say the candle opens somewhere here and closes up there and it's green on the 1 hourly chart. What should we do with the remaining position then? Everybody please. At least half of you. Yeah, close it, close it, close it, hedge it. Hedging, as I said, is we can do that, yes. And if the candle closes like this, of course, you close the short trade or you hedge it up if you know how hedging works. Not everybody is familiar with that already. Okay, so well done, that's it. So it's a very good example again, and that's why it's still running. Remember, if you take out, this is only a stop of 20 something pips, right? It went down over 100 pips. Down here we had support on the 4 hourly chart. I'm recording this session and that's why I repeat stuff, so we have everything we discussed this week in this video. We had a lot of support down here, right? Previous resistance acting as support here. And what did we say when the price was still up there? We said if the price reaches here, we expect a bounce because of previous resistance and here also support. All this is acting as support down here, right? This happened, so that's why we took profits in this area with about 80 pips with a second lot. That's about 100 pips profits for the first and second lot. And that means even if the price hits the stop, we keep the 80 pips. But our goal should be to stay in as possible. Even if you didn't take this trade, you should manage it right now. Paper trade it as it were yours. Okay? So what is the target? Actually, of course, because the price creates 1 2 3s and we expect a retracement rather later than earlier would be best for us. So what do we expect? I can go back to the 4 hourly chart. We expect the price to create a new low, ideally, and then at some point a bigger retracement to the 36. At that point, if the price retraces only to the 36, so this support acts as resistance again, then the stop, our stop up there is safe and we don't trail it yet. We would only start trailing it if we get our 1 2 3, a bounce on resistance, price moves lower, then we take the stop from here and trail it over resistance. Okay, because if we do that, it needs patience, it needs discipline, but actually we are trying to make as much profits as possible, right? We want to turn this small swing trade into a large, big, long-term swing trade if the market agrees. And that means targets should be here, the 90 area, of course. That's our next support. And of course, later on, the lows close at 0.88. It's a good target to have for now, and it is between 3 and about 400-500 pips away. So with a stop of 25 going for 500 with a remaining lot, can grow an account very, very, very quickly. And most of you know how it works. You have done it already, but we want to always remind ourselves here that it's very important to try to turn a classic small trade or an aggressive trade or late trade or a conservative trade, it doesn't matter, into a very big, powerful swing trade. Right now it still looks good. This 4-hourly candle moves lower. If it's closing red, that would be another if it's also closing of breaking, of course, the 2 to 3 line, it's another 1 2 3. Of course, we still have the support here, but if the support breaks and we get our new 1 2 3, then we start trailing our stop. Okay, but only if we also get the 2 to 3 line break here, not before that. And that means that the price would move into a profit area of about 30-35 pips. And that means even if that trade in the end goes against us, the last lot, we still keep another 35 pips and walk away with 135 pips, more or less. Is that okay and clear to everybody? It's a good follow-up, and combined with other video I have in there, it's something you want to watch as a reminder. Great. Let's now switch to the other pairs. Do we have any questions still? Remember, this is swing trading, right? Higher time frames, we prefer swing trading, less false signals. And I had questions yesterday. I got an email, I think it was from Paul, I'm not sure, asking me a lot of questions about indicators and I don't know, setups and different candle formations and right, things like that. So to make it short and simple, we don't use anything. We don't use Fibonacci retracements. We don't use, I don't know what is out there, MACDs and RSIs. We don't use anything else. We don't even use classic candle how do you say, setups or formations there, inner bars or pin bars. We don't use that because we don't have to, right? We want to keep things as simple as possible. That's why we use Renko bars. The color is telling us if the sellers are stronger or the buyers, in combination with a simple EMA crossover, trend lines, and 1 2 3s, and of course horizontal support and resistance, in combination with price action. That's all, and that is enough. Okay, you don't want to overcomplicate things. Indicators can confuse you a lot. The only thing we really need is understanding the charts, reading the charts correctly, and trying to listen to the market, and then adding entry exit rules and doing the top-down approach and making long-term profits and trying to turn small trades into big trades by taking incremental profits and leaving a position always running if it makes sense, right? Simple as that. Now, in theory, it's simple. Of course, you need a little bit of practice and exercise, like always if you're new to this. But if you want to overcomplicate things, that is easy, right? You can add a million indicators and that will make your life really, really hard. And you don't want this. You want to trade, have fun, and it's already hard enough sometimes to fight your inner demons, right? And little devils when it comes to following the rules and everything. So keep it really simple. Get used to what the chart is telling you. Remember, the chart is the boss, and just follow the rules, your own trading plan and journal. And you don't need anything else. You don't need indicators. You don't need a lot of extra stuff, because the real, as I said, the real, let's say, in the best indicator is just price action. Okay, and the Renko, the Heikin Ashi bars, or even the Renko bars, but it's not for today, of course, help you seeing things very, very clearly. Okay, perfect. Now, if you are used to some indicators because you trade with them for many years and they help you, as long as you make pips, it's always the same story with it. You can do it, of course, right? if there's something that helps you and it thinks it makes you feel better, of course you can add it, but I like to remove from the chart, not to add. Sometimes if I have a range or the price looks too the chart looks too choppy and too spiky, I even delete EMAs for a couple of minutes just to get a clean and clear picture again, see what's really going on. Okay, but that's what I do. You don't have to do it. It's just a little tip, and sometimes we do that here anyway. Okay, great. That's the Aussie. We don't have any questions. I keep on talking here and analyzing. Let's continue with the euro US dollar. As we said yesterday, a monthly resistance here, a lot of resistance up here, a lot of support also here, and look at that, crazy. And the price hit resistance already. It is between major support and resistance, and on the daily chart we have on the weekly chart we have support. The price retraced already to the 200. That's another 1, 2, 3, and right now it bounced on it, and we see the price sitting between support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches and major resistance coming from the monthly chart. And remember, the higher time frames rule the world. Okay, all the big traders use the higher time frames to manage their trades. Nobody looks at a 5-minute or even the 1 hourly chart. So it's very important that we use all these higher time frames for our analysis and top-down approach, right? Now we know on the weekly chart, on the monthly chart, we have major resistance. On the weekly, we have support also and resistance. The price stuck between resistance and support. We have about 200 pips before it's hitting resistance again, about 150 to support. The price is in between. Yes, we have a weekly 1, 2, 3, but knowing that we have this major support and resistance means that we stay out and only look for trades if we get something that tells us actually, or that gives us a reason to do so. Yeah, and if you are into swing trading, you are not interested in any trades here. But if you are more into day trading, you can of course look for setups. How do we do that? What do we need actually here? If you look at the daily chart, it's a weekly 1, 2, 3, right? We have the support. You have to draw the lines again if you go to the lower time frames, like always. Sometimes ignoring a spike, you have still, or a false break, you have still 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. Price is bouncing on the 200 EMA after a big move like it does usually. So we have also bounce trades, long bounce trades going on and everything. But for conservative entries, what we actually need, you know, that is, we have the line already there, is actually another 1, 2, 3 over this line, right? Ideally a nice looking 1, 2, 3 on the 4 hourly chart. If you don't get it, at least a 1 hourly, and things are getting more aggressive. Now you have your 1 hourly already. It looks nicer here compared to the 4 hourly. Price broke the 200 EMA. That was also resistance, right, in combination with this line. And now the 36 also acts as support. You have your support line here. The angle is changing a little bit. If you get a green candle here in an hour or two, you have actually an aggressive long setup. Why aggressive? You know why? Because we still have weekly and daily resistance close by. Yeah. So you could start this as a day trade if that happens. So put it on your watch list. And then you target, of course, your 633 on the 4 hourly, the 200 on the daily chart, the resistance line coming from the weekly and the monthly. And then this day trade would turn into a swing trade if it really wants to move up for days. Okay, but that means that if the price reaches this area, you have to watch closely. If it breaks, great, then this could be a very powerful long-term swing trade. If not, and it's bouncing, you have to start manage the short, and you could even look for bounce the long, and then you could look for bounce shorts, right? But for now, I'm just thinking a little bit into the future. You don't have to do that all the time, but before you even enter trade, what is one thing you need to know? Okay, you got the setup, you know it's aggressive. What do you want to know before you enter the trade? Let's say you get a good setup, you like the setup, it's according to your plan, according to the trading journal, everything you do. But what is important, you know. You have the entry. Room for profit, yet resistance. One word, what is the thing you need to know, at least for the first and second lot? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, David said it, Ranjit said it, the target. You need to have targets and the goals. If you don't have the targets and the goals, then it's of no use just to try it out. Yeah, if you know the targets, you know what you're looking for, you know the stop, is it worth it? Okay, this would be, let's say, more or less a stop of 30-40 pips. So what about my targets? You can go to the weekly again. So okay, if I get an entry, this is resistance. How far is that? It's 190, 200 pips. Okay, 30 pips stop. Is it worth it? Of course it is, in terms of intraday trading and turning a day trade into a swing trade. Yeah, but in terms of swing trading, this is a daily chart. That means we need, for swing setup, we need a 4-hourly or daily 1 to 3 after this weekly 1 to 3. That means it will take a while before we get the setup. And if we get a setup somewhere here, and I measure the stop and I say, okay, it's 140 pips, but the target is 140 pips as well. Is it worth taking this trade then on the daily chart or 4-hourly with a big stop like this and the target 1 to 1? It's not worth much. It is worth 140 pips, but it's not worth twice the stop. So it's a little bit late, it's a little bit aggressive. And if you still want to do it, you have to lower the risk. I try to have, you know, that smaller stops, bigger targets. The bigger the targets, the better the opportunity, right? And sometimes, okay, if it's worth it, we also trade with smaller targets, but it really needs to look good. Situations like these are not my favorite because they could go a little bit up, go back down. It's not a big trend going on right now. The price is in between support and resistance. People don't know what to do, so it's better to stay out. Okay? Can everybody hear me except of Andy? Anybody else okay? It should be okay, right? And if you can still hear me, check. Maybe it's on your side, maybe the microphone, or maybe, I don't know, maybe some technical issue. It should be okay. Okay, great. So that's the euro US dollar. There's nothing more to say. If support breaks, okay, then we can go for short setups below here. We said it yesterday, GBP US dollar is still in this range on the daily chart. Only bounce trades, longs in case. You can also draw a trend line here, and the price is sitting on this right now, so it has to break. Targets are still the highs of the range. Other than that, I wouldn't touch it. It's not moving much. Yes, there are bounces, and I think Gail sent over a chart yesterday trading the bounce here aggressively. Well done. But now it's also, you have to look closely, see if the price actually wants to get a higher low and move up. or if it wants to bounce and go lower again. Yeah, that's an important area right now. So we are not looking for any setups here right now. It's not worth it. The markets are not really trending right now, right? We have ranges all over the place. Most pairs did move a little bit, but did not continue the trend, so we need to wait. That's the part where we have to show a lot of skills here, being patient. Okay, that's the trick. And if the price breaks this, yes, we can look for 1 hourly setups combined with the 5-minute entries and look for intraday entries, right? Yeah, we need a lot of discipline here. And if that happens on the 1 hourly chart, yes, you can try to trade longs and target the high. If we get a red candle here, let's say we get a 4 hourly red candle, because it's resistance, this is a small trend in a range, right? In a bigger range. It's not ideally for bounce trading, but if you like to do it, you have to measure. Is the stop big enough? Yes, no. If it is, great, then you can go for it. If not, wait for the 1 hourly lower high, something we discussed yesterday for the USD yen, and then look again to go short. Right now we are in a waiting mode on most pairs. Okay, let's check the USD CHF. We still have that big weekly 1, 2, 3. Would be great if the price could. You can also draw horizontal support. It doesn't really matter. It's the same story. Resistance up here, most touches in this area, also up here and down here also. So we have also a range on the USD CHF, but it's not, it's also kind of a wedge in this range. We had lower points, so connections from here and here are given, and because of this monthly, weekly 1, 2, 3, if the price breaks the 2 to 3 line, we would like to see new setups below here on the 4 hourly or 1 hour at least, to aggressively take shorts early. Target still, as the short before, is on the weekly chart, could be, if the price really wants to move low after that big weekly 1, 2, 3, if we get the confirmation, then we can go and look for trades hopefully next week and target lows here and still the lows down here or the spike. So that could be a huge swing short, but that would mean that the euro also has to go up. If not, if that's fake, it will bounce on support and move higher in the end. Then the short scenarios out of the window, and after the break of resistance we will look for longs and target resistance. So waiting mode again, even on the USD CHF. On most pairs the same story. Here again, some of you have the longs after the bounce and the range there, the higher low. So yeah, your targets are still there. I got some emails. The question is again, what about the targets? Should I really target the highs? Yes, you should. It didn't change. The price was here last week. It moved up another almost 150 pips. This is still where I have the X. It's still your target, right? These are the highs. Of course, you have a high also in this area. One touch here. So if you see the price is at this area, if it's really trying to bounce here, you keep an eye on this, and you can hedge the position up or you just leave it. It's really win-win anyway. It could bounce a little bit, but really the targets are still up here. I wouldn't change the targets. It's worth it waiting for another 150-60 pips. Okay, don't worry, it's win-win. There's no problem with this trade. It removes stress. It's a big swing trade. It's what you want to focus on. New Zealand dollar use now, forget it. We said it's not worth it. Euro yen, look what we said yesterday as the GBP yen. The price did not trade a 1 to 3 yet. We don't have a red candle, so there are no shorts. It moved back into this range. This was caused by NFP news, right? And now we have to target the highs again for the long traders. If you are not long, here is your, yesterday we discussed it. So if you took your retracement, the 1, 2, 3 on the 4-hourly chart, well done. It's a stop of about 80 pips, so it should reach the first target soon. The second target, of course, twice that much, but still leave it and see if resistance holds. Okay, if resistance wants to break, then setups over here would be great for longs, but you can still look for new 4-hourly setups. Yeah, ideally, maybe if we are lucky, we have a little bit of resistance here. There's another 4-hourly setup, or at least a good 1, 2, 3 on the 1-hourly chart would also be a nice reason. Retracement back to the 36, right? Ideally to the 36 would also be a nice reason to look for another long, okay, over resistance. Look at all the EMAs. The price broke the 633, the 200 EMA. It's looking long again. Okay, targets up here. So on your watch list, maybe later on today, about 3-4 hours, if we get retracement or a little bit longer, we see setups as a new chance to look for longs. Yeah, okay, keep it on your watch list if you like this pair. It's not that great, but because it's moving and it didn't move lower, there's a simple rule, market rule. If the price cannot move lower, it will move higher. Simple as that, right? Of course, it could also range, but because this is a channel in an uptrend, usually it will, if it's volatile, trying to move higher again. Now on GBP JPY, we said yesterday there's a 1-hourly setup. Or we're waiting for 1-hourly setup. This did not happen exactly. So only a bounce on the 12th. The only thing you might get was an aggressive day trade entry. There's no 1-hourly or 4-hourly setup yet. The price just moved up, except of the bounce trade. Everything else, the aggressive bounce longs, except of that, we don't have a classic 1, 2, 3 setup yet. Okay, that's what we expect at some point, a classic 1, 2, 3 on the 1-hourly. Ideally, now that the price moved higher, on the 4-hourly chart. Okay, we got one, we got the second. There was already a 1, 2, 3 out of the channel on the 4-hourly chart, but other than that, nothing else. So we need to wait for another one with a good retracement back to the 36 for second entry. If it's not good enough, if the retracement does not move ideally back to the 36 and only to the 12 or a little bit lower, then you can combine this trade, of course, with your 5-minute daily entry and look for intraday trades and turn a day trade into a swing trade by leaving the last lot open like usually. Let me check the 5-minute chart, sorry, the 1 minute. I didn't trade this pair, so I didn't actually look at it closely, but let me check if we have any aggressive setups. Okay, that was the 1-hourly retracement, the only one candle you got on the 1-hourly chart touching the 12 EMA, right? And after that, the only thing you got was a nice, almost perfect 1, 2, 3 setup, retracement to the 36. You had a lot of support here. Entry, a break, entry candle. The second candle, of course, is the entry after the break of the high. An entry exactly there with a stop of about 20 pips plus spread. So that worked quickly. But other than that, there was nothing. So intraday traders are probably very happy. It's a win-win. Last lot still running with 85 pips or something. But other than that, no swing trading signals except of the 4-hourly one. We have to wait for another one, if the price wants to do that soon at this point or maybe later on. Okay, you can also keep that on your watch list. Maybe better the euro yen, because that did not move that fast already. But it's up to you. Both are okay as long as we get the signal. GBP-CHF, I remember some of you still had the short, the one hourly shorts, right? It was Gail and somebody else trying to keep that last position running, and we said yesterday, same scenario. If you get a 1, 2, 3 on the 1 hourly chart and a 2 to 3 line break and an entry, get rid of the remaining short. You still keep like 20-30 pips, and that's about it. That's one way to manage this, right? It was a great trade anyway, but now it's over according to the 1 hourly chart, because you entered it on the 1 hourly. You can also manage it there. If you don't like to manage it there and you have your stop still here, you can of course stay in and wait for the price to hit the stop. It's really up to you. It doesn't matter. It's win-win. Maybe it's still moving lower in the end and you get lucky, but the more aggressive way to manage it would be the 1 to 3 against you, right? So take it out, keep whatever is left, and say thank you like always. Remember, you want to be positive trader. Don't be grouchy just because the last lot didn't make 1,000 pips or something. It's still a great trade. You just don't stuck with this. Get over it. Okay, take the remaining profits and look for the next good setups on different charts. Simple as that. Does everybody agree with this? Okay. Perfect. Now the USD yen. Jean is not in the room, but he will be probably very, very happy about this. He had the patience, right? Remember what he did? Went long, also had short. I think we have a video in the members area for it. He took some profits with the shorts, get rid of it, kept the long. After this bounce straight in the wedge, the price came out of here, and we also had another 4 hourly setup earlier. Remember what we said yesterday? If we get that retracement to the 36 and then break, this is an entry. It's already out, so we cannot enter it right now. It would be too late. So did anybody in the room today, first of all, do you have this pair on your watch list? If you have it on your watch list, did you trade it or did you try it out on the 4 hourly chart as a swing trade? Yes. Okay, well done, well done. Now it's just you just need to manage the trade. That's it. Okay, don't worry about it. It was a good decision. If it works or not, remember the decision you made was correct. You did the top down approach. You waited for setup over resistance. You did nothing wrong. That alone should calm you down. And if the price decides something else, okay, that's your tip to the market. You pay for being able to trade, okay, if you get stopped out. That's it. Other than that, you have good targets, long-term targets, and well done. So second lot is nearly out. So did you, Marianne, did you take this trade? Where did you take it? Probably earlier, right? Because if you took it on the 4 hourly, it just started to move your way. If you took it on a 5-minute chart, like a day trade entry, it would be this. Oops, sorry. It would be the setup over. What happened to the lines here? Something happened to MT4. Look, wow. Doesn't let me. It's funny. Let me try it again. Okay, there we go. So that's the only setup. And you have now what happens here. The price supports the 633 and the 200. It can get better than this, right? It's not a perfect setup because the price we don't have a 50% retracement on this 1 2 3, right? The price moved up 35 pips, retraced only 12. That's not 50%, but we have the 200 and 633 at the same price. We also have a trend line break. It's a 4 hourly 1 2 3 as a filter. Then you have a stop of about, I don't know, maybe 10 15 pips. So yeah, on the 5 minute it should make profits. It should be a win-win already, right? If you took this, depending where you took it. If you took it late somewhere here, then it's a little bit different. You still have a small stop. You have your support. It's about 10 pips plus spread. So yeah, it should hit the second lot already. 49, 40, what is it? 49. 49. So probably during this, you entered it here, probably the spike, right? Maybe you use this candle. You didn't use that one. This candle, you waited for the next candle to move a little bit higher. So somewhere there. Okay, got it. It's like 17 pips stop. It's still, you should be still, you should take out the second lot now with 40 pips. Is more than twice the stop. Are you going to do that, Marianne? Okay, so well done. Well done. It's a win-win. You are the boss. There we go. That's it. Also, if I look at it, the 4 hourly, Jean took it from here. So Jean is like over 200 pips in profit with that one. That's great. That's a very good, powerful swing trade. And it's so nice if you don't have to worry about it anymore. You draw your support lines. You can start trailing your stops now on the 4 hourly chart below here, for instance. And from here, it's like 130 pips. Even if everything breaks down, Jean will make, and it's not only Jean, others are too, but I just know that he has this position open. We discussed it here in the room, right? So worst case, he keeps another 130 pips. Great stuff. And targets are really still far away. Okay, well done. Now we have, as I said, gold. Remember, we said maybe a bounce in this wedge. If we get the green candle, now the green candle is in making. It will take the whole day still before this candle is going to close, but that's okay. Aggressively, of course, green candle on the 4 hourly after hitting support is also a way to bounce trade the long. Then a stop of about 150-60 points. Price is not reaching the target yet. Remember, it's a bounce trade. It's not a 1 2 3 setup, so it's aggressive. Ideally, you want the break of the 36 and the 1 2 3 at least on the 4 hourly chart on gold, right? Or the 1 hourly. But gold, I like the higher time frames more. Then you can target the highs of the wedge. Silver is the same scenario. It's still below that support, but on the 4 hourly chart, it's making a 1 2 3. So if the price actually stays below the 36 and makes a nice 1 2 3, then the only thing we can trade after a good bounce is a short. There's no long here, correct? Now, New Zealand dollar yen. Look what happened yesterday, bounced there. It's still in this range. And as I said, I'm not too thrilled about this chart. I won't touch it. It's too close to resistance. If the price breaks or bounces here, we can look for lower time frames, try the bounce. But even that does not look that great. It's really only 130 pips on the daily chart. It's almost nothing. I would prefer to see the price coming out of that wedge, giving us setups over here or below here, swing trading setups ideally. So we still are in the waiting mode. Hopefully next week we see some action again for new swing trade setups. GBP CAD, who had this long, was it Gail again? Talking about this pair again yesterday. I don't remember who it was, but it's still a wedge, right? The price is there. We said we need at least a 4-hourly red candle, right? And then look, it's a small range. I wouldn't prefer it for bounce trading, only if we get a confirmation on the 1-hourly chart. The best thing would be this. Correct? But ideally a setup over here or below here to get a direction again, to make sure the price wants to go somewhere. It's just squeezed. It's too close. This wedge is getting small and it's really not that great looking right now. So we need to see, it's an important area. Let it break or let it bounce, and then a lower high, lower low, 1, 2, 3 to try to trade the bounce and target the lows, otherwise the break. Yeah, these are the pairs we're watching. The Euro Aussie, yes, it is ranging. We have kind of a channel here, but it's not that perfect. Yeah, there was also 4-hourly candle. There was a bounce, a short bounce entry, but this whole, if you look at it, it's a little bit spiky, right? It's not ideally what we would like to see. We have a channel, but we also have a lot of support in this area. We have also resistance up here. It's the only thing actually you can do is a bounce trade. If it's confirmed ideally on the 1-hourly chart, that would be ideally what we would like to see. So trend line break, a 1, 2, 3, and a nice 2 to 3 line break. Here's a little tiny red candle, but it didn't close really lower, right, than it opened. Let me zoom in. Yeah, it actually closed more or less at the level where it opened, so it's not an ideal candle to go short. But even if you did, you have to put the stop over the highs if you want to wedge trade it. If you just want to aggressively go short, then it goes over here. And if it's a bad candle and it's an aggressive entry, you have to put the stop over here, and by now this would have stopped you out already. Yeah, so this aggressive try for shorts did not work out. Okay, also a good example for something that doesn't work. But ideally you want to see a nice candle. That means candle closing lower than it opened, ideally. Okay, that's about it. Do we have any questions? I think I got a question before about the news. News are important for us only if we want to trade intraday setups like 5-minute chart entries, right? And we actually don't care much about what the results are. We just want to see if we have red news, like important news or not. And if we have news, let's say in an hour, in 15 minutes from now, we would not take a 5-minute entry, right? If it's 1 or 2 hours before the news and we get good entries and we have a lot of volatility, we take the trade. If we are getting close to the red news, we don't take the trade, especially if it's non-farm payrolls news. We try to wait for the news to be released and then look for setups. That's about it. For swing trading, we don't even look. Okay, for swing trading, we don't care about the news because the higher time frames, the charts already know what's going to happen. So we just focus on what the chart is telling us. We don't need to bother thinking too much about the news. Actually, you watch the news, they say something, and in the end, the exact opposite is happening on the chart, right? So it's not ideal to think too much of the news. Just make sure you don't trade like half an hour or 15 minutes before the news are released if it's a day trade. Swing trades, because the stops are big enough, 4-hour daily chart, it doesn't matter we never risk more than 1% anyway. I mostly 2% if it's a daily chart and looks really good and we have a big trend or trend change that could leave us in a trade for weeks or even months. Correct? Does everybody agree? Okay, great. Okay, that was all for today. If we don't have any other questions, then that's it. I've recorded this session. I'm going to upload it later on tonight. Okay, and I will also upload some trading plans and journals from Gail. Really great stuff. And soon we also have some new indicators for you to use that makes your life easier. Okay, no other questions? Yeah, I'm recording. I've recorded this one. Usually what we do, I'll try to record the last session of the week, or if we have a session where we have live setups, then I will record this. But usually end of the week I cover everything, like in this session, everything we did the previous sessions, we put it all in one. I record it, and then you have about 1 hour to watch instead of 3 or 4 hours to watch, right? It makes it easier for everybody to watch a 1 hourly video instead of 3 times 1 hourly videos. Okay? Don't worry, Jean. We were talking about your USD yen trade. You are still long there, right? Please say yes. Hey, Jean. I'm talking about the USD yen long. Are you still in there? Hello? Okay. Yes, you are. Okay, perfect. Okay, well done. I said if you are still in the USD yen long, that was the question. The long trade. Yes, you are. There we go. Okay. Great, perfect, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next week. If you have any questions, send an email. Also, please check your spam folder. Sometimes I get emails and people are angry that because they think I don't answer, and I really do answer the questions or send the emails, but sometimes they end up in the spam folder, and it's a little bit difficult. Okay, so please check the spam folders if you think you don't get a reply from me. Okay, see you soon. Bye.